Welcome to the Offshore Club's fun-filled, fact-filled, fast-paced, blockbuster podcast, Coffee with Carib Carter, coming to you exclusively from where the sun never sets on the good life at a great price. And now, fill up your favorite coffee mug and join your expert and your guide, Carib Carter Clues.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Coffee. Here we go. Good to the very last drop with Carib Carter. Okay. And today we're going to have a fantastic visit. We're going to have a fantastic visit because I have three segments, each one of which I think is enjoyable. I think that they're kind of fascinating, particularly the segment we're going to go to first. Okay. And I think very informative. Okay. Very informative. Okay. We're going to start with an interview that I want to set you up for it right now because it's unique. Okay. It's unique. The gentleman we're going to talk to, David, is an expert on all things. I don't want to say just internet, but cyber. All right. And what he has to tell us about the metaverse. Don't turn that channel now. Give it a chance, because I promise it is intriguing and it's fascinating, and it directly applies to your move offshore. Okay, it really does, because the one thing I hear most often from people, and I get a lot of great letters and phone calls and text messages. Remember, text me 202-664-6190, 202-664-6190. You text me, I'm going to answer. You call me. It's the same number. That's my cell phone. It's my personal cell phone. I promise you. You call, we're going to get a chance to talk. 202-664-6190, or email me at caribcarter7, the number 7, at gmail.com. Okay. So what you're going to find with this technology that Dave is going to tell us about is that it is going to make it so no matter how far away you move, you're closer to your friends and family than you've ever been. So what are you talking about? Wait, just wait. We're going to get to the interview very shortly, and you're going to see. Okay. The second segment, I'm going to take you to a home. But before I get to that, when I said about the email, this is the kind of thing that really, this is an email. Notice I've crossed out the gentleman's name and all, because I always protect your privacy. But this is the kind of email that I just love getting. I get a lot of them. Okay. Good day. I really enjoyed your latest podcast. Being a simple 80-year-old, it was easy to understand, and all what you were saying. My wife and I are permanent residents in Panama. Then he goes on to ask a specific question about the currency. I think, by the way, the podcast that he's talking about is the one I do on Thursdays with Joel Nagel, America's #1 asset protection attorney, the offshore asset oracle. And I think that's the one he's referring to. That's on every Thursday noon at offshore.club. Remember, we do 5 a week. Coffee with Carib Carter, which you're watching right now, and I appreciate it. It's our flagship podcast, but we also do on Tuesdays, we do Charlotte's Wandering Web. Great visit with Charlotte Tweed down in Mexico, where she tells us slice of life, what life is really like for genuine expats, her and her husband, and all her friends they meet. Fantastic. Wednesday, Leslie at Large in Nicaragua at Grand Pacifica. What's it like to live in a gorgeous residential resort community for about 1/10 of the price you pay to live in anything similar in the U.S.? That's on Wednesday. Thursday, I just told you, Joel. Friday is Mike Cobb, the offshore investment oracle, and we talk investing offshore. So you got a full menu. I think my friend there was referring to Joel's podcast, but I love getting those emails. Keep them coming, and I answer every one of them. Answer those questions. Okay. So get back to where I was before I interrupted myself. We're going to Nicaragua in our $1,000 listing Caribbean segment. Take a look at a gorgeous bungalow with a rooftop terrace, ocean view at San Juan del Sur, one of my favorite places in all of Central America. that you're going to love. Okay, I'm going to fill you in some details on that when we get to that segment, and I know you're going to enjoy it. Finally, your motivation minute going to be short and to the point. I'm going to give you 9 important words that have motivated me all my life, and I think are going to motivate you when you hear them. Okay. So let's start out with our interview. Okay, and just it's longer than our usual interviews, but I think the topic is like, wow, can this really happen? I'm telling you. Now, as you're going to see as we progress in the interview, not only can it happen, it is happening, and it can make your life offshore even more closely aligned with your friends and interactive with them than with most of them you are right now. Okay. So let's talk today. All right, folks, I promised you a great interview today. In some ways a departure from our usual fare, but I think you're going to find especially fascinating because of how it applies to you and you making your move offshore. Okay, so I'm going to be talking with David Spencer. Okay, David K. Spencer, as DKS Consulting firm, CPA firm in Tampa, Florida, and he's an expert on essentially all things digital. Okay, I read about him in this magazine, his article. Okay, Insiders Magazine, make sure you subscribe to it. His article is called The Digital Economy. It blew me away, and I think David is going to blow you away as well. David, welcome to Coffee with Carib Carter. How are you?
It is absolutely a pleasure. It's a little late in the day for coffee for me, but I support that 100%.
Well, I just drink it all day to keep my energy level up.
Yeah.
But your article on the digital economy in this month's Escape Artist Insiders magazine absolutely was just it was fascinating. It was intriguing and it was fascinating because you really talked about a bunch of topics that I have been, kind of like tangentially absorbed with because of the difference I think they're going to make in Offshore Club members' lives. And that's the idea that you can live anywhere and still be in touch with everyone, if I can put it. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah.
Good.
So that's definitely one of the promises of the metaverse, right? That we will be able to be everywhere and anywhere kind of all at the same time. And when we think about the metaverse, it's so complex because there's a lot of moving parts. But an easy way to understand it is to go watch a good movie. It's called Ready Player One. It's Steven Spielberg produced it in like 2018. It's a great movie, but it will help you kind of understand the nuts and bolts, right? The basics of it. But what we're really talking about is the change into a digital world, right? Where everything is digital. And the metaverse is going to play a big part in that because that's where we're going to interact with our digital beings.
All right, let's there are three terms I really want you to go deep into, but the first is the metaverse. So first, for those who are brand new to this, define what the metaverse is, if you don't mind, David. Define what the metaverse is. You did a good job in the article.
So the metaverse refers to the multitude of metaverse and virtual reality worlds that will exist, right? So oftentimes people think of Meta and they think of Facebook, right? Because Facebook changed its name to Meta. And they are building a metaverse, right? And that metaverse will be full of all kinds of things that you'd want to do. There'll be games, there'll be rides, there'll be coffee shops where you can talk to friends and all kinds of things. And that's one metaverse. And they are building, meaning the developers, the people who know how to build these things, really they're game console designers, right? They're the same people who build video games. They're building every kind of metaverse you can think of with anything you can imagine. And when we look at the futuristic sci-fi movies, that's where we're going. This is odd as it might sound.
You want to hear something odd, and it occurs to me as you're talking. I don't know. You're too young to remember a Pierce Brosnan movie called Lawnmower Man.
Yeah.
Okay. when you said about, where you can be anywhere and you become part of it. He was a lawnmower man. Now, this is before James Bond, obviously.
Right.
And he essentially became one with his computer. He
Mm.
entered into it, and essentially that became inside of the computer his real world. And
Yeah.
is that the kind of thing we're talking about here?
Yeah. So that's where it's going. So think about, I saw an ad the other day for a game that is going to be developed in the metaverse for racing bicycles, right? So I live in Florida, and if you drive down the road in Florida, you might see a pack of people riding these very expensive street bikes. They've got the full garb and everything, right? And they take it very seriously. So imagine if you could make a living riding your bike on your Peloton, and people will gamble on you to race against other kind of regular people who also are racing on their Peloton. And because we are in a virtual reality environment, the metaverse, you've got your goggles on,
right,
and you will be able to make a living doing that as a professional racer in the metaverse.
Well, now let me ask you this. In your article, you talked about dog racing as an example of it, that in Florida there was concerns about animal rights. So they have actually moved into the metaverse in the dog racing world, and maybe even in the horse racing world. But is it, my next door neighbor is a horse player. And I mean, he has, every time I sit on my porch, he brings out all these sheets of paper where he's analyzing this horse and that racetrack and which turn. I'm like, what the? But is it, okay, so let's say there's the horse in the metaverse.
Yeah.
Is it going to have, how you're going to be able to analyze its past races and everything?
Absolutely. You will have the best data on that horse. It will be an electronic horse. It will have the absolute best data. This is what's going to blow your mind. It will also be able to breed with other horses. It'll be like a math problem, so to speak. I have this many statistics. This other horse has this statistics. We put them together. So quite literally, the possibilities are only limited by our imaginations.
Well, when you think about it now, my friend Jim, and he does, by the way, he does very well. That's how he makes his living. All right. But I've known him 3 years. He's never been quote unquote to a horse race. He never. So he's watching it on the computer every day anyway. And so, somebody might say, but they're real horses. Actually, they're not. They're digital representations of real horses.
Already they are exactly on the screen. So for him, when he goes and puts the goggles on,
right,
is sitting at the racetrack, that's going to be an increased and improved experience for him. So we think like, oh, why would I go into the metaverse when I could just go to the racetrack? Well, not everybody's going to the racetrack. Some people don't like being around that many people.
No.
And so if I can go have that experience in high def, which is better than my TV, and I can see the horses running and everything is good, I don't have to worry about Corona. I got to worry about none of that stuff. Wait a minute now. And I'm having an increased experience as opposed to, because we think about it's not reality. Well, it's better than a TV.
You got that right. It's better than the computer screen. And the fact of the matter, now let me ask you this. So he puts on, I guess he would put on virtual reality headset, right?
Yeah.
And so, I'm trying to think of, there are certain tracks he mentions all the time. I can't remember the one, Woodbine or something. Woodbine. I think Woodbine. Now, he'd be able to be at Woodbine. Let me ask you this. There are other racing aficionados all over the country who love horse racing. And, he lived in Vegas, and he tells me, I used to go to the track there and I'd sit next to the colonel and all. Will he be able to sit next to people in this virtual reality world and interact with them while they're watching the race together?
Yes. So the easy kind of beginner modules in the metaverse. When you first buy some Oculus Quest goggles, right? I'm not like public plugging for them, but those are a common one that people get. So you get the Oculus goggles, and when you start off, there's like a tutorial section, right? It's a room. There's not a lot else going on, but there's a lot of things that you can pick up on the desk to learn how to use the tools, right? How to use the controls. And then once you kind of mastered that, you go into this place called the rec room, okay? And in the rec room, it sounds just like what it is. It's a bunch of people. There's basketballs, every kind of game and darts and every kind of thing to help you get used to the tactile nature of using the equipment of the, right? In there, you meet all kind of people. They just come, hi, I'm David, and they shake your hand, right? You shake hands, and now you've made a friend, right? And so then you can talk to each other. You have your own room. You can create. So think about making an office. So I have an office in the metaverse. I made that office by creating a link, and the key to the door is a password, right? And so I can invite you to my office, and we can sit in my office in a private environment in the metaverse and have a conversation.
And can we together watch that horse race?
Yes, absolutely. We can put that horse race on the screen if we'd like.
And we're all together watching it, talking back and forth. You know, I'll tell you something fascinating about, David, it might have been 7 years ago now. I wrote a direct mail letter for Agora. It was called Money Map Press was the company, about the virtual reality and how it was going to change the world. I mean, it's like a 40-page letter, right?
Right.
And here's something fascinating. When people say, yeah, but it's just a game. It's not reality. Let me tell you something. As I researched it, what I found was they were using the Oculus. So when you said it reminded me, the Oculus. Mm-hmm. They were using it in advanced pain therapy treatments, because they found that one example was a guy who was horribly burnt in Afghanistan, right? Mm-hmm. And nothing was making the pain subside. But they put the Oculus on him and took him into that world, and the pain was gone. And not only that, but over time, it rearranged the neuroplasty. Now, folks, when I'm saying all this, you're all sitting there saying, Carter is going wacko. I swear to God, folks. I read the scientific research, okay? It rearranged the neuroplasty, redirected it within the brain, so it went around the pain permanently for him. And he ended up getting married, having several children. So does that relate to what you're talking about?
The mind. So yes, what is happening in the metaverse? If you look at those goggles, I think they're about $500-600. It might be closer to like $1,000, but they're $500-600. It's obvious that there is more than $500 or $600 worth of technology in those goggles, right? When you get inside. And so why is Facebook effectively giving the goggles away, right? They're giving them away because they're collecting data. As always, it's kind of their thing, right? And that data is about how the mind and the body and the human interacts with the metaverse. It doesn't surprise me that he had a physical reaction to an experience in the metaverse. The second time I went into the metaverse, I was at my my uncle's house, and the kids had their goggles and they were playing a bunch of games, right? And then they wanted me to try it. I'm fun Uncle David. So they were like, hey, Uncle David, you try the metaverse and try the roller coaster. So they sit me in a chair. I'm in a chair, a regular chair. I got the goggles on. I'm riding a roller coaster. And I know in my brain, I'm a smart guy. I know in my brain that I'm on flat ground. That didn't change the fact I fell out the chair. Literally, I fell out of the chair. They were waiting for it. They knew they had done this to adults before. Knew what was going to happen. I fell out the chair, and then after I got done, I was like queasy in my stomach, like I had really been on a roller coaster. And I was like, wait, what? And that was really one of the things that gave me that made me realize there's more to this than just what meets the eye. Because the fact that I had a physical reaction in my stomach, right? Like nausea. That told me something. The brain cannot really tell the difference. You think you know, oh, I'm in the goggles. Your brain has a harder time.
No, it's so funny you mentioned that, David, because I have a home in Honduras. I have several homes in Honduras. My wife's from there, and I spend a lot of time there. So I'm at the mall in San Pedro Sula. It's a city in the middle of Honduras. And they have a virtual reality booth. Well, I had written about it. So now remember, this is in Honduras. So it cost me $2, I think. And it was a roller coaster.
Yeah.
So I go in, I put these things on. It's 3 minutes for $2. Not for me, it wasn't. It was 30 seconds for $2 because I got so dizzy. I just took on. I said, I got to get out. But let me tell you, here's what fascinated me. I could look in any direction. Some people say, well, it's like watching television. No, folks. If I looked over there, it was a whole different scene, just as if I were in the roller coaster when I was a kid at Gwynn Oak Park and looked over the side. Or I could look. Pretty stunning.
It's amazing. And so the next level, so now that we've got this technology, right? The next level is hyperrealism, right? And if you look at, the cutting edge of the metaverse, so there's the current consumer-facing metaverse looks something like Roblox. It's really boxy, right? They didn't take the time to really work on the graphics because they were worried about the underlying technology. Let's make it work first, and then we'll make it good. That's the idea, right? So now what they're doing, now that they have a metaverse, now they're working on hyper-realistic avatars. Because, an avatar that looks like a little goblin is cool and everything, but I'd really like an avatar that looked good in a suit.
Yeah.
Right? And so that right now, they're working on hyper-realistic avatars. And if you Google hyper-realistic avatars for the metaverse, you will be amazed how far they already are. Because before something becomes a consumer product, it takes a long time.
Yes.
It takes a lot of this work to get there. And they're probably 90% of the way to a hyper-realistic avatar that will look just like you in the metaverse. And so once we get that, now let us be sure humans are human. And what are they going to do with hyper-realistic avatars? That, unfortunately, Vice. Is going to probably be, when they make a hyper-realistic avatar, Vice is going to take the rest of the metaverse to the moon.
It's shocking. But let me give you an example of something, because I want to bring it home for Offshore Club members. And sometimes the Offshore Club members, because I get, they write to me a lot, they call me, etc. And they're concerned because, I'm a grandfather. I don't want to leave my grandchildren. I really will miss my grandchildren or my kids. Or, I have a lot of friends and neighbors. I have a feeling, let's say I'm down at my place. I own a home in La Ceiba Beach Club, okay, right on the beach, gorgeous home. And I have a feeling I could have coffee with 5 or 6 of my friends or more if I wanted every morning in the metaverse where I'm in my beach home. They're seeing me, but we're all around the table together, just as real as like with my brother. And I have friends in Wisconsin. I have friends in other states, just as real as if we were meeting down at the local Starbucks. Am I overstating it, or
not at all? That's a very perfect example of what you would use, the metaverse for as a professional or just as a group of friends, right? Because there's something about looking at people.
Yeah.
We've built all these planes and stuff to like fly around and look at, but sitting around that table, looking at someone, again, your mind can't really tell. I fell out of my chair, right? So when you're sitting there and you're talking to your friend and that's their avatar, especially when it's a hyper realistic one and you're in it, it's going to be just like you're right there. And
what about me though, that I'm actually sitting there and I'm not that it's the real me sitting at my table, and my friends are, because they're in their virtual reality goggles, or I think eventually glasses, they're just as if they were sitting having coffee with me, and we're going to talk about the same stuff. I can look in any direction. Do you see that as happening?
Oh, that's absolutely going to happen. That's a big part of what people want to do in the metaverse, is meet with other people from all over the world for all kinds of reasons. And that's the ultimate goal, to be able to sit down, have a conversation, and really, engage in commerce, right? That's really what people are going to be doing in the metaverse. Is I'm going to be meeting clients. When I can meet clients anywhere in the world,
And let me point out again, and you correct me if I'm wrong, because you're the expert, I'm not. But the people, sometimes when I would talk to people, say, well, I can do that on Zoom. And I tell them, not really, because you're going to be, I don't know how else to put it, you're going to have a presence there, a presence. Zoom, you're looking up in this block and there's a picture of Joe, there's a picture here of Bob, Jill. No, you are going to be immersed as if you're sitting at the table together.
Give your friend a high five.
It's what?
You'll be able to give your friend a high five.
Exactly. And I want to move on to my next definition, but before I do, folks, I'm going to give you a word now that David's already going to know. And if you're not familiar with it, it's going to say, holy cow, haptics, HAPTICS. Okay. When you said high five, David, you're not only going to be able to see your hand hitting the other hand, you're going to feel it. And people are going, come on, let me tell you something. Already they're using haptics. One of the examples I read was surgery. A specialist in Paris was operating on a patient in New York. It was an emergency situation. And look, this surgeon had to be able to feel how deep the incision was going. It wasn't like he was butchering the local cow or something.
Yeah.
And he could haptics, right? Am I right?
Tactile feedback, haptics, all of that is real. It's very, very real. And that all is part of the immersive experience. So we already have it, right? We already have haptic equipment. They just don't call it that yet. So they call it feel the music. So there's headphones that you can buy where it's also a vest that you can feel, right? They already have a full body suit. It's very expensive, right? It's still kind of a prosumer version that you'll be able to feel heat and wind and all the different things that you can imagine, right? In addition to that, we think of the metaverse, and I've got these goggles on, right? That's part of it. But in the now, you can go to arcades that are metaverse arcades where you're in a room and the whole thing is the controller, really, because there's sensors in the corners that are following every piece of your body. You've got gloves on. Those gloves have little sensors, just the same way they do Hollywood. They have sensors on the tips and all the pieces to track you. So when you will be sweating when you're doing exercise in the metaverse. You will really feel what's happening, and the haptic feedback and the I'm forgetting the name of the systems that they're base stations, right? The base stations that turn your whole play space into a physical environment that you're in, because the whole idea is to be fully immersed, right? In a play space on top of a sliding, it's got you strapped in, so you're held into the thing, but you're walking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're walking. It's effectively an omnidirectional treadmill, just like in the movie Ready Player One. If you want to learn about the metaverse, watch the movie Ready Player One.
All right, so the Offshore Club members, when they make their move, let's say to Grand Pacifica in Nicaragua, gorgeous residential resort community, they're 3.5 miles of beach. They're going to be able to walk that beach with a friend who is in where I'm right now, York, Pennsylvania, and walk together and talk as real as if they're there. Is that
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. And
Absolutely.
while you'll be trying to convince your friend to come visit, right? And they'll say, you know what, just come to the beach with me.
Wow.
And they'll put on their goggles and you guys go walk on the beach. It's not going to be sitting on the thing. They're going to feel like, oh my goodness, because they'll be able to look at things you're not looking at. They'll be able to, just like you said,
That's right.
To the side.
That's right.
And see what's over there.
Incredible. Now let me make one more prediction, and you tell me if I'm off. Okay.
All right. One
of the things that I think Offshore Club members right now are sitting there, a lot of them, especially older ones, are saying, I'm not sitting around in a pair of goggles. I think eventually they're going to be like this.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you see what I'm saying? Like glasses. Just that simple. Like I put on my glasses to read, to talk to you. I have another pair I put on to drive. Okay, I'm going to put on my I don't even like to call it virtual reality. It's expanded reality glasses.
Exactly.
What do you think?
They call it augmented reality.
That's right. Augmented reality.
Augmented reality glasses, right?
Yeah.
So what does that actually mean? It is the sci-fi world that we've always been talking about, right? So these right here are Oakleys, but I got a pair of Ray-Bans, and the Ray-Bans are called the Ray-Ban Stories. And the Ray-Ban Stories, their thing is they've got two cameras right here in the corners. They've got two cameras. They've got speakers, right? They've got speakers right here, and then they've got another set of headphones back here. So your glasses can look out, they can receive information back, they can make you hear something, and they can record as well because it's got a microphone, all right?
Wow.
They're trying to figure, and now the next step is to put a clear glass electric panel on the screen. So it will appear to be transparent if you're looking at me, right? But I will have a feedback of a display on my screen in front of my real life. Okay. I'll have my glasses on and there will be a, like every spy movie you ever saw where he goes like this and then the screen pops up and he's the only one who can see it.
Yes.
That is a real thing. They already have it. They're perfecting it now. That's a thing. Okay. And what I can do is I can take my augmented reality goggles and I can sit at my real desk and I can take a screen and throw it up there and have 15 monitors if I want.
Yes.
If that's what I want to do. Right. And so the possibilities are only limited by our imagination. And all the things I'm telling you right now are things that are already happening. You can go get augmented reality glasses. You can use it at your real tactile keyboard computer. Right.
It's fantastic. It's amazing.
As many screens as you want.
This is great. Real quickly, and I don't want to take your afternoon, but there were two terms in there that I want you to define for people. Because, folks, I want you to go to escapeartist.com, subscribe to the Insiders magazine, this month's edition. You'll see it right there, and read David's article. Okay, and there were two terms in there that I want people, that I think people need to have. Just I don't know how briefly you can even say it, but NFTs. I keep hearing. I tell you who I constantly is talking about NFTs, and you're going to know the name because you are really into this whole area. Is Gary Vaynerchuk?
Yeah,
right.
Gary V.
Yeah, Gary V. And this is embarrassing. Okay, I'm just going to tell you it's embarrassing, folks. I'm going to make an embarrassing admission here. I watch Gary V all the time. I happen to like him, and I still have no idea what the hell he's talking about.
That's okay, man. That's okay.
What is, because folks, you're going to read NFTs in the article. What is an NFT?
That is an excellent phraseology of the question. Okay. What is an NFT? All right. First, let's talk about the words themselves. What is NFT stand for? It's short, right? NFT stands for a non-fungible token. All right. Back up even more. A dollar bill. Every dollar bill is the same as any other dollar bill, right? So they are fungible, right? One is just the same as another.
Yes, good.
That is what the word fungible means. So when we say non-fungible, what we mean is that each is unique. Okay. So we have a unique digital token. That's what NFT is. Non-fungible token. It's a uniquely identifiable digital token. Okay. So now that we know what that is, the question next is, what do we do with it?
Yes.
Okay, so it's something that's unique that I can identify, and it is a token, it's a thing, and it does evidence ownership, which is another unique characteristic. Okay. So let's take a step and let's talk about stocks real quickly. Every stock, every security, right, stock, bond, or otherwise, has what's called a CUSIP number, CUSIP, right?
Yes.
And that uniquely identifies that security, right?
Yeah.
So you're beginning to see my analogy.
Yes.
The technology that is the NFT, that is a uniquely identifiable digital item that also evidences ownership. That technology is in fact revolutionary. People at the moment have been using it in a sandbox phase to try different things and do different things. And people go, well, people are spending all this money on NFTs. That's crazy. Well, people have been spending a lot of money on art for a long time.
Yeah.
There's a new medium of art now called an NFT. So I'm not surprised that people spend absorbent amounts of money on art.
Right.
So when you phrase it that way, it has a very different kind of meaning, right? Oh, they're spending all this money on this little JPEG. Well, no, it's art. If they want to call that art to them, that's, their prerogative, right? For me, it's about the technology that is being expanded and is being tested at the moment, right? Because I talk to companies who are going to use NFTs as their securities instead of issuing shares. Oh, yes, absolutely. Instead of issuing shares, they're going to issue NFTs. And those NFTs are going to have a coupon payment, and you'll be able to evidence exactly who owns it. You'll know exactly when it's transferred. It's perfect.
And then I can use that as currency.
It's a asset that has value. So if you have a piece of Apple stock, can you use that as currency?
Yeah.
There it is.
Essentially, I can. Yeah.
Yes, you can.
So if somebody's willing to buy my NFT or Gary's drawing he does or whatever, then that is currency.
I mean, yes. So let's think about where currency comes from. Where does money come from? Money is a store of value. What is that value that we generally store? It's our labor, right? We store our labor in money. I do a job and the person pays me money, right? I did a lot of work and I need to store that because I can't use that work all at one time. Maybe I need some of that money later, right? So I'm storing my labor in those dollars, right? And when I make some art, I have done my labor to make that art. So really, in the bigger scheme of things, our labor is our real currency, right? And we can turn that into all manner of things. So yeah, when you make an NFT, when you create art, you are creating currency.
You're creating a currency. Well,
it's deep.
It is deep. It is deep. And folks, we're not saying you're going to start using NFT as currency when you make your move offshore. You're just not at this point. Maybe in the future, you think?
There's 150 plus central banks working on digital currency projects, including the United States, include all the developed countries have a central bank digital currency project right now. China has already issued theirs. Russia's is in final stages of development. The United States, they issued their report last year on the digital dollar. So it's really just a matter of time. I believe that when we have some type of dislocation in the markets, right? We've seen very volatile markets recently. I feel like when we do have a major dislocation, that our next round of stimulus payments that go out are going to be digital. That's my real goal, my real guess, my real prediction. When we have our next rounds of stimulus payments, it's going to come on a phone like this. And what they're going to say is, take a picture of yourself, selfie, fingerprint, hold your ID next to you, and take a picture of your eye. And they'll have every single person digital identity that quick. One shot, and they'll give them a stimulus payment of $2,500 or something, and they'll have 3/4 of the country with digital identity all at once.
Just like that. All right. Well,
I hate to be the bearer of
we
bad
don't even
news,
have time
but
to get
that
to my
might be the
final. So
reason why
we
you
don't have
want to
time
get
to get
off
to my
court.
final point that I was going to ask you about. So you have to promise to come back again.
Absolutely, it'd be my pleasure.
I mean, this is not only is it fascinating, but it's applicable, folks. What David is talking to you about, I think you realize now, particularly the NFT, I'm still a little foggy on, but particularly the augmented reality,
Oh yeah,
to be able to have your friends and family with you, honest to God, just as real
amazing.
as if they were is well, I was going to say is my wife, and my wife's not with me right now. So if she were here, it just as real as that. So Dave, this has been fantastic, David. This has been
This is
excellent.
great. I can't wait to do it again. And absolutely go check the article in the Escape Artist. I really enjoy writing for them. It's a great audience.
It's a great article on page 86, 88, whatever it is. Get the magazine, folks. I think it's $79 a year or something. It's and I think you'll agree. It is the best international magazine in the marketplace. It's a great magazine, and everything David and I have talked about is right in there. And he lays it out, and he's a darn good writer, and you made it so even I could understand it. So thank you.
Mission accomplished.
Thank you for helping us today, David. Thank you for
Thank
joining
you very
us.
much, Carib. I'm looking forward to doing it again.
Fantastic. Excellent. Excellent. Wow. That was a lot. I know that was a lot, but it's very, very important because it's going to help you when you make your move. No, you're not going to be alone. Everybody you know and love, people you're not even in touch with right now, you're going to get to be essentially augmented reality bosom buddies with again, just as real as if they're sitting next to you in, flesh and blood.
Yeah.
All right. So excellent. Appreciate David joining us. We're going to talk to him again in the future because we're going to get updates on it. All right. Fascinating guy and a great guy. I mean, I like the heck out of him, and we're going to be talking more with him. I promise you that. We're going to be talking more with David because he's going to help you understand everything you need to set up to have that, what we call it, augmented reality, so that wherever you are, all your friends and relatives can be there just as if they were sitting right here next to my shoulder. I mean, it's just that realistic. Honest to God, it really is. All right, as you just heard. So where are you going to be then? Now that you know you can be anywhere you want and live the good life at a great price without horribly missing all your friends and relatives. I should add, my wife is from Honduras. She lives here now. We don't have all this that we just went through there, the metaverse yet. We will. We don't have it all yet. But I swear to God, I'm driving the car. This happens more often than you can think. I'm driving, the Jeep. She's beside me, and all of a sudden I'll hear her talking, and I'll turn to her and say, "What'd you say, Princess?" And she's talking with her mother in Honduras. Just sometimes FaceTime, just as real as if her mother were in the back seat talking to her. And it's going to get better and better. Okay, so let's look at a place in Nicaragua where you're going to be able to do all that and more. And it's a place that I really fell in love with as soon as I saw it and knew I had to show it to you. We've done over 80 of these properties now. And let me make it clear two things. One is, again, I don't make any money off any of these properties. Okay. That's not the purpose of your offshore club. I'm here to serve you. I'm blessed to get a chance to say to you, folks, I think you really need to consider your plan B escape route. You're moving offshore, the good life at a great price, and not just leave it at that. Let me show you some places. That's it. Okay. And the second thing I want you to know is what I do is I spend time every week researching to find you one that week that I think is going to appeal to you. I try and keep them in a lower price range because my feeling is this: if I show you one in a lower price range and you're looking at it and you think, well, I think I can spend more, it's easy for you to find one in a higher price range. Okay. But getting those really bedrock bargains. Okay. That's what I try to look for, in places that I know you would love to live. Okay. And that's what we're going to look at today. So for today's, I was researching. I thought, Nicaragua just gets better and better and better. Let me find a good home there. So I'm researching. And it was one of those serendipity things. I find a website called investnicaragua.com, investnicaragua.com. I find a home that I'm going to tell you about more. Here you go. Okay. Find a home that I thought, wow, that's pretty darn nice. That's pretty darn nice. And I write to the investnicaragua.com, say, let me have more information about this home, okay, so I can share it with my friends at Offshore Club, all the members across the nation, over 150,000 of you now. And next thing you know, I'm getting a call from a gentleman named Leslie Stewart, okay, who you're going to see in just a minute. You're going to see him in just a minute. Folks, I'm old school. I'm old school. I'm old and I'm old school, all right? I evaluate a lot of things on the people. You know, if I talk to someone, I like the person, I think that's a good person, I'm going to pursue with them. Okay. If not, no, I'm not going there. I'm not taking you there. Leslie Stewart impressed me. Very, very great guy, upbeat, professional, totally professional, and newest topic, and understood completely what we do here at Offshore Club in a heartbeat. So I was thrilled by it. So we talked about this property, the property I'm going to show you in a minute. And I said, Leslie, you have any video that can help people get to know you? I want you to get to know these people. Don't buy from someone you don't know and trust, okay? And by the way, I think going with first impressions is usually a pretty good idea. I think about yourself. Haven't you usually been right in first impressions? Yeah, usually. Okay. So I think you're going to have a good first impression of Leslie, because we're going to roll a video he did for investnicaragua.com that really lays out for you why this property, he's not talking about this specific property, he's talking about Nicaragua. It's only about little over 3 minutes, but I want you to watch it because you're going to enjoy it. You're going to enjoy him. You're going to learn why I keep coming back and telling you Nicaragua may be the single best investment or destination of any place we talk about at this point in history. So, Gary, let's take a look at what Leslie has to say in this great video.
Hey guys, this is Leslie with Invest Nicaragua, and today we're going to discuss 6 reasons why people are moving to Nicaragua and why you should be checking it out too. If you want the latest and greatest news about living and investing in Nicaragua, make sure to hit the subscribe button and follow us on social media at Invest Nicaragua. Nicaragua is one of the most beautiful countries in the world. We have mountainous landscapes, we have beautiful beaches, we have the largest lake in all of Central America, and we have, most importantly, warm weather and sunshine almost year-round. Whether you like to surf, snorkel, fish, yoga, or just spend a lot of time outdoors, Nicaragua is an absolutely amazing country with a ton of activities and a lot of sunshine. One of the best parts about Nicaragua is that it's an extremely affordable country. Whether you're looking to rent or buy, prices are drastically cheaper than they would be in North America, Europe, and other parts of the world. The local markets in Nicaragua provide everything you need in terms of produce and meat at a very affordable price. One of the best parts of living here is the low cost of living for the high quality of life that you get. Nicaragua is an absolutely beautiful country, and there's so much to explore. Whether you're in the northern part of the country where they grow coffee, tobacco, chocolate, or you're on the beaches of the Pacific or Atlantic coast, there's so much to see here. There's adventures for days. I've been here for almost 10 years and I still haven't seen every nook and cranny of the country. There's no shortage of great amenities in Nicaragua. We have excellent restaurants, both locally and internationally inspired. There's tons of great retail here, whether you're looking for clothing, electronics, furniture, etc. Anything you need can be made or bought in Nicaragua. If you have kids, there are excellent English-based international schools here, and the education is great. Nicaragua provides excellent healthcare options. Whether through the universally free public hospitals or private hospitals, there's no shortage of affordable, easily accessible healthcare for all ages. My 2 daughters were born in this country, and I can say from firsthand experience,
there you go. Now I think you can see why I like this guy. Okay. And why, I think he's a consummate pro, and I think he's one of us. Sometimes you can feel it. He's one of us. Okay. And married to a Nicaraguan woman, just like I'm married to a Honduran woman. So he understands the culture there, as I think you've seen that video. So let's look at the property that Leslie, that when you talk to Leslie, let me give you his phone number. His phone number is 718-213-4748, right? Jot it down. It's Leslie Stewart, Stewart, at 718-213-4748. He's in Nicaragua, but that's a I think voice over internet protocol or something. So you can dial him direct, and he's going to talk to you just like he and I talk. Great chat. You want to write to him, Leslie, Leslie. Leslie. Yeah, there you go. Gary put up the number for you there. Jot that down. Leslie at investnicaragua.com. Okay. So everything I'm showing you can call him about. You may say, hey, I kind of like that one, but what else you got? Go to the website, look it up and say, hey, Jeff, Leslie, what about this one? So let's look at the one that struck me immediately with my saying, I want to share this with all my friends at the Offshore Club, with you. Okay. All right. I always like to do the long view first. You know how I am about that. I always enjoy that. So, because sometimes, we get new members every day. We get new members, new viewers at Coffee with Carib Carter every day. So let's look at where Nicaragua is. Okay. Let me look myself to make sure I don't put my finger in the wrong spot. Way up there. See, way up there. Nicaragua. Okay. See, it's right on the water there. Very, very nice in Central America. You get on the plane, it's going to take you about a couple hours to get there. That's it. I'm sure Spirit Airline flies there. So it's a couple $100. Okay. We're going to the section that the beachfront area, one of the most beautiful in all of Central America, in Nicaragua, called San Juan del Sur. Okay. Look at that. There it is, that little red dot right on the beach. And by the way, it's a beach for those of you who love the water life, which is, ain't me. I like looking at it. So, okay. So, but for those of you who enjoy plunging in, it's great surfing there at San Juan del Sur. Okay. So that's where we're going. Okay. That's where we're going. Now, before I show you the house then, okay, we're still doing long view, medium view, then close up. Okay. Take a look at this. This is Leslie pinpointed the house. See there? He says property. There's your home. Picture yourself there. Is that gorgeous? And look what you can see. Look what you can see when you're up on your terrace. See it way up there? There, we get my finger in there. That's the ocean. You're about 5 minutes away. and here's the view of the ocean off your terrace that I'm going to be of the home that we're looking at right now. See it there? Snuggled between the mountains there. Holy mackerel, folks. Can life get better than that? I don't think so. It's in an area called Congo Hills, okay? So here's home we're talking about. All right? Now I'm going to look at the home. Look at the home. Is that pretty? Look at the grounds, professionally landscaped and tended to. I like that. All right? My wife likes garden work. I don't, so I love it when somebody's taking care of it for me. Bungalow with a rooftop deck in San Juan del Sur. You are on the water, folks. Okay, let me read you the highlights. And when you go to the website, you're going to see it there. And you can read it for yourself at your own leisure. 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom. 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom. Okay. 2 bedroom, 2 bath. Okay. All right. One of the bedrooms has an ensuite bathroom. So everything there self-contained for you. Okay. Hallway bathroom takes care of the other bedroom and any guests you have over. Nice size front porch. I like that. Big enough to hold a grill. I like to grill out. I think probably most of you do too. Remember, when you live in Central or South America, you can grill out all year round. It's not something you rush to do in the summer before the winter comes in and drives you back in the house. You're never driven back in the house. You live outdoors. Okay. The home has a spiral staircase that leads up to the rooftop deck. Okay. And that rooftop deck is where you're going to relax and enjoy yourself, look at the wildlife, and way out at the ocean, beckoning you to come and enjoy yourself anytime, all year round, because the weather is fantastic. All right, let's go inside. Let's go inside. We've looked at the house now. Let's go inside. Okay. Yeah, comes furnished, by the way. Comes furnished. All that is yours. So just picture yourself sitting in that chair there, relaxing, reading. Yeah. There's your kitchen table. Have a cup of coffee. You know, check out the internet or the metaverse, whatever, right there. Okay. Invite your friends in the metaverse over to have coffee with you at that table. All right. There you go. There you go. Bedroom. This place is nicely done. Look at there, the built-in closets, ceiling fan. Oh yeah, it's air conditioned, so don't worry about that. Air conditioned. All right. And I know there are a lot of people like to cook, so I always show you the kitchen. Refrigerator comes with it, everything. All right. Whip up your meal right there. Whip up your meal there, take it up on the deck to dine while you're overlooking the ocean. Folks, this is fantastic. $119,000. I always tell you about the Carib Carter 10 times factor. That kind of a home, there you go. So there's where you find it. That kind of a home in the U.S. would cost you 10 times as much. Absolutely. With that kind of location, prime beach view property, okay, 5 minutes away from the rolling surfer waves down and you're in San Juan del Sur. Beautiful town nearby, by the way. Beautiful town. You're not out in the middle of nowhere. You know, you're only about 10 minutes from town. So it's everything you possibly want. $119,000. Talk to Leslie, offer him a little less. He's a friendly guy. He's not going to bite you. All right. And see what he has to say. See if you make a deal there. They might even have some financing. I'm going to tell you the truth. It's funny. It's so funny. When I was talking with Leslie, I mentioned to him, Leslie, the Carib Carter, my friend Carib Carter, coffee friends of mine we've looked at like 80 homes. And I said, all of them are fantastic. I know some of the folks have gone out and a couple of them have made their purchase. As a matter of fact, one of them I love so much that I bought it myself. As you all know, I bought my home at La Ceiba Beach Club myself. There's my wife jogging on the beach, which is my front yard. Okay. So I said, I know these are great homes, and anything I tell you about, folks, that I would buy myself. And I'm going to be honest with you. I may be interested in this one because I want the place in Nicaragua. They also, this Congo Hills does rentals too. So you may have some cash flow there. So this may be one of those places where you get the best of both worlds, cash flow and appreciation, because it's going to skyrocket in value. I'm just telling you, it is. Nicaragua has been discovered. Nicaragua's been discovered. So there you got it. I love that. I love that. And if you don't buy it, I may be inviting you to come down and visit me there. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. But check it out. Talk to Leslie. 703-217-703. That's Virginia. He ain't in Virginia. 718-213-4748. Talk to him. You're going to like this guy. Talk to him about the other place. He has some higher price. Some, I think maybe one or two lower price. All of them I thought were very, very nice. I was very pleased. So there you got it. There you got it. Now, let's finish up with the 9 words that I'm hoping help motivate you and give you I'm going to say, my father used to like the word gumption, to go ahead and make your move. First of all, the first words of the 9 is 2 different phrases. All right. First is everything starts with a dream. Everything starts with a dream. Okay. Think about it. In your life, everything you've good you've ever gotten started with a dream. So I want you to dream about the place you just saw, or the good life at a great price in Uruguay or Paraguay, all these places we visited together. But it all starts with a dream. A very quick little story for you, okay? My wife from Honduras, when she was a little 5-year-old girl, my wife came from poverty that it's painful to me when she even tells me about a little 5-year-old girl. She said she would sit in the dirt in front of her house. She had one dress. She had no shoes. They couldn't afford to send her to school, even her parents. She would play in the dirt. She had no toys. She had nothing. She had nothing, she said, but a dream that one day she was going to come to America. Okay? It's an impossible dream. Matter of fact, when I went to the Honduran embassy after I first met her and said, I want to bring her to America, they told me point blank, it'll never happen. The administration that was in power then is not interested in legal immigrants. You will never achieve it. I told them, watch me. I went back and I flew down and I told her, I'm going to make that dream come true, Princess. I'm going to make that dream come true. She was 20 years old when she finally started to see that dream come true, when I met with her and I told her that, okay? All right? So everything starts with a dream, even if it seems the impossible dream. It all starts with a dream. The second phrase I want to give you, the second, is to live large, dream big, okay? Carrying forth with her example, she dreamed big, didn't she? Way too big for a poor little Honduran girl with nothing. But now, she's been here 5 years. We've been married 5 years, and she's living pretty large. She's out shopping right now, and she told me when she left, I said, have fun, Angelita. She said, oh, I have fun. You know, I love to shop. And so she is living large, and that's what I want for you. Let me bring it home. That's what I want for you. That's the whole purpose of the Offshore Club, the whole purpose of Coffee with Carib Carter. I want you to realize everything starts with your dream. And if you want to live large, if you really want to live large, and that down there is where you're going to live large, folks, in the sun, sand, and surf, the good life at a great price. If you really want to live large, you know, you've got to dream big, and you can make those dreams come true. Okay? You can do it. You can do it. I know you can do it. So as I tell you at the end of every episode, together, let's do this thing.